Hello everyone, welcome to the daily newspaper analysis brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy, 4th June 2025. Displayed here are the list of articles that we will be discussing. The first article, India to get remaining S-400 missile system by 2026, says Russia. So in this topic, we will be covering the basic facts about the S-400 missiles. And the next article is about the COVID-19 in India. So we can see that there is a resurgence of COVID-19 infection in the nation. So we will be discussing that. And the third article, Karachi city hit with a 3 low intensity earthquakes. So the Karachi city, which is located in the Sindh province of Pakistan, experienced a back-to-back 3 low intensity earthquake. So in this background, we will be discussing the basic facts about the earthquake. And the next article is about a study conducted by the AIMS in Delhi, and they found the increasing case of childhood obesity. So in this background, we will be discussing what is mean by childhood obesity, what are the causes and consequences, and what can be done. And the next article, GDP number swings. This article is taken from Indian Express. This article is talking about the recent fluctuation in India's GDP rate. So we'll be discussing what are the reasons and what are the challenges currently the economic growth is facing in India, and we will also discuss what can be done. So without much delay, let's begin our discussion with the first article. Before that, we have an important announcement from Shankar IAS Academy. Delhi Center's GSPCM batch will be starting on 6th June 2025, and the new CSAT batch in the Delhi will be starting on 23rd June 2025. For more details, visit the website of Shankar IAS Academy. Remember, it's your dream, but it's our mission. Now we will begin our discussion with the first article. India to get remaining S-400 missile system by 2026, says Russia. The article is taken from The Hindu. In 2018, India and Russia signed a deal worth of $5.43 billion. And as a part of this defense deal, India received 2 regiments of S-400 missiles. And now Russia is saying that they will send the remaining 3 regiments in the next year, that is in 2026. So coming to this S-400 missiles regiments, we can see that it plays a crucial role in India's air defense, because we realized the power of this system during the retaliation from the Pakistan followed by the Operation Sindhu. The people of India didn't feel anything, right? And we realized the retaliation only in the very next day when the media reported. So this system is that much effective. So it is crucial for the India's air defense. So coming to the certain facts about the S-400 Triumph. So it's a Russian long-range surface-to-air missile system developed by Russia in 1990s. And in India, we call it as Sudarshana Chakra. And it is one of the world's most advanced air defense platforms. And how it is working. So first is it can target the incomings, up to 400 kilometers away, and it can also target the incomings at a height of 30 kilometers. And it can target the incomings like fighter jets, drones, cruise and ballistic missiles. And at one time, the S-400 system can target up to 100 incomings, and it can launch a simultaneous attack up to 35 incomings. And we can launch 4 types of missiles from S-400 Triumphs, ranging from 40 to 400 kilometers. And coming to the response time, so it is a unique feature. The system can respond within seconds. For example, if the enemy countries or the hostile country is launching any threat, within fraction of seconds, the system will realize using the radar, and it will kill it will neutralize the incoming. Coming to the key advantages for India, first is the multi-layered defense. So it is very effective in 2-front war. We know that currently we have tension with both Pakistan as well as with China. And we can see that on another side, the China and Pakistan, they are getting closer. Therefore, we need a strong air defense system, and this S-400 Triumph is crucial. And the next is force multiplier. That means neutralizes the threat before they enter Indian airspace. So that's why we didn't even realize that Pakistan attempted a retaliation using the drones, right? And you can see that this missile system can target the incoming 400 kilometers away, and it can neutralize the incoming 30 kilo at an altitude of 30 kilometers. So if it is effective, if we can use it properly, then we can protect the Indian airspace without a scratch. And the next is strategic parity, that is counters both Chinese and Pakistan capabilities. We know that this S-400 Triumph is considered as one of the world's most advanced system. And the next is long range precision. So like I mentioned, it can target the incoming from 400 kilometers, and one time it can target about 100 incomings, and at one time it can simultaneously retaliate against 35 incomings. So you can imagine the efficiency of this system and its precision. And the next is mobility. So it can be easily relocated, and Therefore, this defense system cannot be targeted easily by the enemy country. And the next is autonomous operation, because the S400 trim does not work based on the GPS. So coming to the prelims practice question, the question is, which of the following statements about the S400 system is or are correct? Statement 1, it can track and destroy aerial targets up to a range of 400 km. Statement 2, it is jointly developed by India and Russia. Statement 3, it can engage multiple targets simultaneously. Which of the above statements is or are correct? Option A, 1 and 2 only, option B, 2 and 3 only, and option C, 1 and 3 only, and option D, 1, 2 and 3. See, the correct answer is option C, 1 and 3 only. The statement 2 is incorrect, because it was not jointly developed by India and Russia. It was developed by Russia alone in the late 1980s and early 1990s. And even today, it is considered as one of the world's most advanced air defense system. Let's check the answer. Yes, the correct answer is option C, 1 and 3 only. So in this topic, we discussed the basic facts about the S400 trim missile system and why it is more important to India, right? So with this, we will move to the next article. COVID-19 in India. India reports 4 more COVID-19 deaths, active cases nearing 4,000. The article is taken from The Hindu. These days, we know that the nation is witnessing a resurgence of COVID-19 infection. Now, the total active cases are standing above 4,000. So in this background, let us discuss more about this article. First, we'll start with the current COVID-19 status of India. Currently, the total active cases in the nation stands at 4,026, and in the last 24 hours, 203 new cases are reported in the nation. And since January 2025, total deaths stands at 32. And in the last 24 hours, 4 deaths are reported in the nation, each from the states of Delhi, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Maharashtra. And coming to the state-wise burden of the COVID-19 infection, the Kerala tops the table with 1,435 cases, followed by Maharashtra with 5 cases, and followed by Delhi with 483 cases, followed by Gujarat and West Bengal. And coming to the government response, so the reason behind the current resurgence of the COVID-19 is the new variant, that is NV181. So the WHO identified this as a least concern variant, but even though the government has taken a lot of precautions, including recommendations to the peoples like wearing masks, maintaining proper hygiene in the public, and supporting or cooperating with the vaccination and medication. And government also taken actions like increasing the test, preparing the hospitals with a proper number of beds and proper equipments, and in strengthening the vaccination drives. And these days, to combat the recent resurgence, government is also doing the wastewater-based epidemiological surveillance. So as a part of this wastewater-based epidemiological surveillance, the researchers will collect the wastewater from different regions, and if the biological strain or the chemical, in the case of COVID-19, it is biological strain. So if the microorganism or its strain is present in the water, then that region will be declared as risk zone. So this will help us to identify the risk zone. So this will help us to prevent or contain the spread of COVID-19 in the recent times. And the next initiative taken by the government this time is the wastewater-based epidemiological surveillance. So wastewater-based epidemiological surveillance, as a part of the surveillance, the researchers will collect the wastewater from different regions, and if they find the biological strain or the chemical behind this current issue, in the case of COVID-19, it is the biological strain. So if they find the microorganism in the water, and the next initiative taken by the government this time is the wastewater-based epidemiological surveillance. So as a part of this wastewater-based epidemiological surveillance, the researchers will collect wastewater from different regions, and if they find the strain of the microorganism in the wastewater, then they will declare that region as a risk zone. So this will help us to contain the spread of the COVID-19. And the reason behind this recent resurgence is the new variant, that is NV181. It is a subvariant of Omicron. And even though the transmission rate is high, the symptoms are mild. Therefore, the WHO, according to the WHO, this variant is considered as a least concern, but they are constantly monitoring this variant. And it can, like the previous strain, this can also affect the immune system, but it will not, it is not that much destructive like the previous strain. So coming to the prelims practice question, the question is, consider the following statements about NV181. So statement 1, it is a subvariant of Delta lineage. Statement 2, it has been classified as a variant of concern by the WHO. Statement 3, it is contributing to a rise in the mild COVID-19 cases in India. and choose the correct answer using the code given below. Option A 3 only, option B 1 and 2 only, and option C 1 and 3 only, and option D 2 and 3 only. See, it is a subvariant of Omicron, not the Delta. Therefore, the statement is incorrect. The statement 1 is incorrect. And WHO classified this variant as a concern. No, it is not classified as a concern. It is classified as least concern, but the WHO is constantly monitoring this new variant. Okay. Therefore, the statement 2 is also incorrect. Therefore, the correct answer is the statement 3 is a general statement. It is contributing to the rise in the mild COVID-19 cases in India. Therefore, the statement 3 is correct, and the correct answer is option A 3 only. Yes. So with this, we will move to the next article. Karachi city hit with 3 low-intensity earthquakes. The article is taken from The Hindu. On June 2nd, 2025, the Karachi city, which is located in the Sindh province of Pakistan, experienced 3 low-intensity earthquakes ranging from the magnitude 3.2 to 3.6. So far, no major damages or casualties are reported, and experts are suggesting that such tremors are a part of the release of tectonic pressure. So in this background, let us discuss more about the earthquake from the prelims point of view. First, we will start with the basic question: what is meant by earthquake? Earthquake can be simply defined as a sudden shaking of the Earth's surface due to release of energy in the crust or mantle. We know that there are 3 types of movement of landforms, right? Convergence, divergence, and transform. So what happens? So during the time of convergence, when the plates collide against each other, and one plate will move above the another plate. So as a result, the energy will be released. So the point at which the energy is released is known as focus. The region which lies exactly above the focus is known as epicenter. And you can see that the released energy will travel in the form of seismic waves, and the seismic waves can be broadly classified into 2 body waves and surface waves. And the body waves can be again classified into 2 primary wave and the secondary wave. We know certain facts about the primary wave and secondary wave, right? The primary wave, it can travel through both liquid and solid. In the case of secondary wave, it can travel only through the solid. And the shadow zone for the primary wave is between 105 and 145 degree, right? In the case of secondary wave, beyond 105, the region is considered as shadow zone. So what is meant by shadow zone? The regions where no tremors or waves are recorded. And this earthquakes commonly occurs in along the fault lines. The best example is the Himalayan region and the Circum-Pacific Ring of Fire. And coming to the key terminologies associated with the earthquake, first we have the seismograph. It is an instrument which detects and records the earthquake. And the second is the focus or hypocenter. So it is a point at which the earthquake originates inside the earth. And the next is the epicenter. The point which lies above the focus is known as epicenter, and this region will receive the first wave or the tremor. And the next is isoseismic lines. These are the lines which connect the regions with the equal intensity of earthquake or the tremor. And coming to the types of earthquake, so based on the phenomena, we can classify them into foreshock, aftershock, and the earthquake swarm. So foreshock refers to a mild earthquake that mainly occurs before the main event. And the next is the aftershock. These are the smaller shocks or the smaller quakes occurs after the main quake. And the next is aftershock. These are the small shocks or tremors happens after the main earthquake. And the next is earthquake swarms. This refers to a series of small earthquake occurs in a region, and this mostly happens during the volcanic eruption or the volcanic activity. And in the case of Pakistan, they experienced back to back. They experienced 3 small intensity earthquake. Maybe that we can consider that also as a earthquake swarm. And coming to the causes behind the earthquake, first is the movement of the plate tectonics. So convergent, divergent, and transform bound movement of the plates can sometimes trigger the earthquake. So here you can see the in the case of convergence, the plates will collide against each other, and when they overcome the friction, the energy will be released. And in the case of the divergence, mostly the basaltic volcanoes will be formed as a result of divergent plate movements. And the next is transform fault. So here mostly the no such effect are there, but in certain cases we can record the origin of the basaltic or the basic lava. And the next major reason is the volcanic activity. So like I mentioned, the volcanic activity can trigger the earthquake because the sudden explosion of the volcano can release the tremor. And the next is human induced earthquake. Sometimes large scale mining accident, reservoir induced. The reservoir will create a type of imbalance in the on the surface. As a result, you can see the difference of mass can sometimes act as a triggering factor behind the earthquake. Oil extraction under the sea, and sometimes the nuclear test can also create earthquake. And also it can also create other natural disasters like avalanches, landfall and all. And based on the depth, we can classify the earthquake into shallow focus earthquake, intermediate earthquake, and deep focus earthquake. So the shallow focus earthquake, here the focus will be between 0 to 70 kilometer beneath the surface. Therefore, it is highly destructive. And the next is intermediate, usually happens between the at the depth of 70 to 300 kilometer, and here a moderate release of the energy will be observed. And the next is deep focus, and defocus, so it mostly originates between the 300 to 700 kilometer beneath the surface, and because of the depth, the energy will be distributed widely. As a result, no such major casualties or no such catastrophes will happen usually in the case of the defocus earthquake. So coming to the prelims practice question. So in this topic, we discussed the basic facts about earthquake and what are the triggering factors behind this, and we also classified the earthquakes based on the depth and and coming to the prelims practice question, consider the following statements. Statement 1, the epicenter lies below the focus of the earthquake. Statement 2, deep focus earthquakes are more destructive than shallow earthquake. And statement 3, earthquake swarms are most a common precursor to the volcanic eruption. Which of the, choose the correct answer using the code given below. Option A, 1 and 2 only. Option B, 2 and 3 only. Option C, 3 only. And option D, 1 and 3 only. See, the epicenter lies below the focus of the earthquake. No, it lies above the focus of the earthquake. Therefore, the statement 1 is incorrect. And coming to the statement 2, the deep focus earthquakes are more destructive. No, because of the depth, there is no much destruction due to this deep focus earthquake. We know that the deep focus earthquake originates between 300 to 700 kilometer. So therefore, no much, because of the depth, there is no such destruction from the deep focus earthquake. Therefore, the statement 2 is also incorrect. And coming to the statement 3, the earthquake swarms are common precursor to volcanic eruption. Yes, that is possible. Therefore, the correct answer is option C, 3 only. Let's check. Yes, the correct answer is option C, 3 only. With this, we will move to the next article. AIM study highlights urgent need for coordinated action on childhood obesity. The article is taken from the Indian Express. Recently, the All India Institute of Medical Science in Delhi conducted study on 4,000 plus students aged between 6 and 19 years. And they found that out of the 4,000, 13.4% of the students are facing the problem of obesity, and 7.4% of the students are facing the problem of hypertension. And you can see that within the obesity, 24% of the students comes from private school, while 4.5 students comes from percentage of students comes from government school. So this data is indicating how the economic background of the children is related to the obesity. And the next is currently the India is facing the dual burden, that is undernutrition on other side and the obesity on another side. So we can see that both will lead to various health issues and the mental health issues, and eventually this will affect the productivity of the nation as well. So in this background, let us discuss more about this news article. So definition for the childhood obesity. Childhood obesity in India refers to the excess body fat in the children, and this can negatively affect their health and well-being, because we know that the obesity can lead to various health issues like diabetes, cholesterol, hypertension, cardiovascular issues, and pulmonary issues. And it will affect their well-being, because their health will be at the risk, and at the same time, due to their appearance, because of the excessive body fat, they may face psychological problems like anxiety and depression because of various reasons like bullying in the school and all. Coming to the causes behind this childhood obesity, the first major reason is the increasing urbanization. So urbanization leads to sedentary habits and less outdoor activities. We know that as a part of urbanization, the buildings are increasing every day, and this will reduce the outdoor playgrounds, and therefore the children will not get opportunity to engage in outdoor activities, and this will increase the sedentary habit. Therefore, the children will be mostly spending time on studies or on screen. So this will result in increasing body fat. At the same time, other psychological issues like anxiety and depression. And the next is poor diet. So the children, especially the children from the affluent family, will go for junky food and sugary drinks, and these are very harmful to the health. And the next is affluence, like I mentioned, the economic background of the people. So we can see that in India or in any society, the Western foods or the processed foods are always considered as consuming these foods are considered as a part of prestige. So therefore, this type of norms or this type of penchant in the society will also lead to problems like obesity. And the next is lack of awareness about nutrition and outdoor activity. So you can see that the parents are also occupied with their work, right? On other side, the children are not getting enough opportunity to engage in outdoor activities. Therefore, the people are less aware about the nutrition and importance of outdoor activity. As a result, this will also result in the problem of obesity. And the next is policy gaps, that is weak food regulations in India. So we can see that recently the FSI conducted inspections in various sectors, and they found that even the paneer is also not suitable for consumption, because various chemicals are used for preserving this paneer. So we can see that the people who are going for gym and workouts, they are regularly consuming this paneer for better muscle building and all. But the recent inspection by the Food Safety Authority of India found that even the paneer is also not suitable for consumption. So these type of regulatory gaps are also resulting in increasing public health issues such as obesity. And coming to the consequences of this increasing childhood obesity, like I mentioned, type 2 diabetes, hypertension. Hypertension will eventually lead to cardiovascular problems. Mental health issues will lead to, again, it will lead to hypertension, and hypertension will lead to cardiovascular issues. So these are all interrelated. And the next is a socio-economic consequence, like increasing healthcare cost and the productivity loss. So the problem is the obese children are more likely to become obese adult. So in the adulthood, they may face chronic health issues like hypertension, diabetes, or cardiovascular issues, and this will ultimately result in productivity, loss of productivity. And you can see that due to the increasing cases of obesity, there is a possibility of increasing cases of non-communicable diseases, and non-communicable disease is a foundation for all other type of diseases, and this will eventually increase the healthcare cost, and this will bring a pressure and burden on the healthcare system. And coming to the key government initiatives to address this issue, the first is Pradhan Mantri Poshan Abhiyan. Currently, we are in 2.0. This initiative was launched by the Ministry of Education to improve the nutrition and with the focus on undernutrition. We know that this scheme is focusing on providing nutrition-rich food to the children in school. At the same time, this scheme is also focusing on fortification of the minerals and nutrition, right? So to increase the overall health and well-being of the children. And the next is the health school program. This initiative was launched under the collaboration of Ministry of Health and Education. This is focusing on regular BMI checks in the school and screening of the children in the schools. And the next is CBSE guidelines. So the CBSE, they established sugar boards to create awareness about the dangers of the sugar-rich food, and also this guidelines prevents the sale of junk foods in the 50 meters surrounding of the school, and also made the physical exercise mandatory in every school. And the next is FSI's Eat Right campaign. So this is focusing on generating awareness about the importance of eating healthy foods. And as a part of this campaign, they also launched Eat Right school program to create awareness about the nutrition and the healthy lifestyle to the children in the school. And coming to the next topic, we can see what needs to be done. So to address this problem, what can be done? First is bringing changes in policy and education system. That is implementing the national guidelines on obesity across the nation. This will help us to regulate the junk food advertisements that targeting the children. And the next is education, health education in the curriculum. So the children will become aware about the nutrition and importance of the physical activity. And the next is routine BMI and BP checks in the school. So this will, BP is also known as silent killer. So we may not be aware that we have hypertension, but some point of time, if it is crossing the limit, it will lead to a lot of issues like heart attack or the stroke. So checking the regular monitoring of BP from the childhood is very important these days. And the next is awareness for the parents and teachers. So not only the children, even the parents and teachers also should be aware about the importance of physical activity, and then the importance of outdoor activities. Because in the schools, we can see that in per week there will be only one physical education section. So this has to be changed. Therefore, generating awareness among the parents and the teachers is also very important. And the next is physical activity and diet intervention. That is, make physical education compulsory in schools and even in public offices. And the next is developing public play spaces. We know that due to the increasing urbanization, the outdoor activities are reduced. And the next is ban junk food in the school canteens, and this will protect the children from consuming the junk food, and promote traditional home cooked meals in the schools as well as in the education institutions. And the next is the participation of community and the technology solution, that is involving the parents and the local bodies. We can, in the local level, we can organize the sports events or other outdoor events, so the children will come out of their home, right? This will be helpful in reducing the screen time, and thus it will ensure the health and well-being. And the next is nutrition workshops. We know that we are talking about what not to eat, but at the same time it is equally important to make aware the people what to eat. So therefore this type of nutrition workshops will be helpful to create awareness in the grassroots level. And the next is the use of technologies like artificial intelligence for screening the children from the childhood to, for example, assessing their BMI, blood pressure. And these days we have many tests that will even helpful to predict whether these children are vulnerable to any type of non-communicable disease in the future. For example, we can conduct the diabetes test in the sugar tolerance test in the school level. So this will helpful. This will be helpful for the children as well as to the parents to understand whether the children is at the risk of developing diabetes in the future. And the next is building national childhood obesity database. So this will be helpful in planning the policies, at the same time implementing with the targets. So this has to be done. So in this topic we discussed what is childhood obesity and what are the consequences and what are the causes and what can be done. So based on this, try to answer this mains practice question. The question is, rising childhood obesity has highlighted by the recent AIMS findings pose a serious threat to India's public health. Examine the causes, consequences, and suggest a multi-pronged strategy to tackle this emerging health crisis. So it's a 15 marks question, and you have to write around 250 words, write the answer and post it in the comment section. We will review and we will reply for your answer. Now it's time to move to the next article. GDP numbers swing. Where does the key to sustaining growth lie? The article is taken from Indian Express, which is talking about the frequent fluctuation in India's GDP. So let us discuss more about this news article. So in the recent times, that is 2 quarters ago, the GDP of India stood at 8.4%, and suddenly there was a dip from 8.4 to 5.6%, and again there was a rebound to 7.4% in the fourth quarter of the financial year 25. And even though the core GDP growth is estimated currently at 6.5%, there is a frequent fluctuation of the GDP rate. And we can see that according to the Economic Survey of 25, we need a constant GDP growth of 8% to achieve the Vikasit Bharat 2047. But these fluctuations are acting against our vision. And what are the reasons behind this frequent fluctuation in the GDP? The first major reason is the election year physical expenditure. We can see that during the time of election, the government expenditure has increased, and this affected the GDP. And the next is the front-loaded subsidies. So in the case of front-loaded subsidies, the government will initially give the subsidy to the projects, but the result of this projects took a lot of time, and this also affected the GDP and resulted into an up and down fluctuation in the GDP. And the next is the strong monsoon boosted the agricultural output. So that is also another reason behind the recent surge of the GDP. And we can also see that the international scenario is also very unstable, because we recently saw the issue of the Trump administration. They directly engaged in trade war with various nations, including the Latin American nations, right? So these are also creating uncertainty about our GDP rate. And coming to the challenges highlighted in the article, the first major challenge is the over-reliance on the government spending. So even though we are giving importance to liberalization, privatization, and globalization, still the government expenditure plays a crucial role in the economy. For example, especially the expenditure in the field of infrastructure. That is one of the primary reasons behind our economic growth. And on the other side, when the government expenditure is increasing, there is a record of weak private sector investment. So last year in 2024, there was a dip of 1.4% of private investment in India. And this will create uncertainty, because in the future we cannot depend alone on the government expenditure for a very long time. We need cooperation from the private sector as well in the present system. And the next is the rural consumption remains sluggish. This is due to the inflation rate, rural urban migration, or the lack of productivity in the agriculture. So these are also these are the primary reasons behind the sluggish rural consumption. And the next is global trade volatility affecting the exports. We can see that the America, recently they directly engaged in trade war with various nations, including China and the Latin American nations. And that is why we can see that in the recent time, India is strengthening the foothold in Europe. The best example in the recent time is the free trade agreement with the UK. So these are the major challenges highlighted in the news article. And what can be done? First is enhancing the private sector investment through various incentives, or through various government schemes. We have to strengthen the private sector cooperation for the economic growth. The next is boosting rural demand and productivity. We can see that the rural demand, the sluggish rural demand is one of the primary reasons behind the fluctuations in the economic growth. And therefore, we have to focus on increasing the rural demand and productivity. And for that, we have various schemes like we have the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana to enhance the rural connectivity. And coming to the productivity, we have a Skill India mission. Under that, we have the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, which is focusing on skill development in the rural area. So these are the initiatives we can take to enhance the rural development. At the same time, we have to also make sure that the governance in the rural area is also doing well, because these days the Grama Sabha, these institutions are losing its importance because of this increased rural to urban migration. So for that, we have to enhance the rural governance as well to reduce the rural to urban migration. And the next is pursue trade policy reforms. The best example, like I mentioned, is diversifying the trade opportunities. The best example is the UK trade agreement and the Australian trade agreement. And the next is diversifying growth beyond monsoon-linked agriculture. So even today also, the majority of the agriculture sector, majority of the people in the agriculture sector are depending directly on the monsoon for production. So this has to be changed. At the same time, we have to utilize this monsoon for various other economic activities as well. So this will diversify the opportunities in the economy and will ensure a sustainable growth. So coming to the mains practice question, the question is, headline GDP figures can often conceal more than they reveal. Discuss the limitations of quarterly GDP data as a policy tool. Suggest alternative or complementary indicators for economic health. So this is a 10 marks question, and you have to write around 150 words. Write the answer and post it in the comment section. We will review and we will reply for your answer. With this, we are coming to the conclusion for today's newspaper analysis. If you like the video, hit the like button, give your feedbacks as comments, and share this content with your friends. And before leaving this channel, don't forget to subscribe and also hit the bell icon to receive on-time update from Shankar IAS Academy. Thank you. Have a nice day.